Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, recently, generative AI has been reshaping the way businesses innovate and remember, thereby leading to more creativity and productivity. However, human insights are still very much needed in order to guide AI responsibly. So, today we will explore how Gen AI empowers brainstorming and memory assistance for faster and smarter decisions. So please permit me share my screen with you as we proceed with this presentation today on unlocking creativity and memory using generative AI for brainstorming and memory assistance. And I'm really very happy about the topic for today because memory assistance is really much needed in the global space nowadays more than ever before. And on our agenda, we have introduction to generative AI in business, understanding brainstorming and its challenges, how Gen AI enhances brainstorming, and I'll share with you some real-world brainstorming examples, memory assistance, its definition and challenges, Gen AI for memory assistance, and real-world memory assistance examples. So we would also take a look at the science behind Gen AI, ethical and practical considerations, best practices, future trends, some questions and key takeaways. Now, let's talk about Gen AI. I'm really so interested about memory assistance because when I first came face to face with AI, I had this challenge where I would give a prompt, but later on when I come to like modify prompt, like the output sometimes just seems off. And I'm asking myself, is this chat not able to keep record of what we have been discussing in the past? And that really got my attention. So Gen AI relies on deep learning models, okay? And of course, it creates new content from input data. That's why it's very important to be able to prompt properly in order to enhance creativity, productivity, and decision making. So, according to Brown in 2020, he thinks that Gen AI is able to power brainstorming and memory assistance. And that's what this presentation will be all about. So, what's brainstorming? Brainstorming has to do with collaborative idea generation for solving problems for innovation. And some of the traditional methods includes like group meetings, whiteboards, sticky notes, and all of those things that people do in order to remember whatever is very crucial or important to them. But we see that we are able to rely on AI softwares nowadays in order to do this task for us of remembering things that are really important. But some of the challenges would also be like group thinking. If a group were to come up with ideas, how would memory assistance by AI really help them? And then limited perspectives from AI because AI basically fits on the context that we give through the prompts, right? And then the time constraints as well. So, Gen AI instantly creates diverse and new ideas instantly. That's the word, instantly. And this is something that humans have been struggling with. Humans are great at bringing up ideas, but they need time to process these ideas. I used to tell my husband at home, like, if I see books that are written from 2023 onward, I need to be sure that the author knows what they are writing about before I can really sit down to read these books. Because I feel like nowadays people can just go to any AI platform and generate massive text and just put into print and say they have published a book. And then just overcoming human biases. This is another important aspect that we have to look into those biases that can come through prompts. So, enhancing brainstorming would also mean that we should look for ways to overcome our personal biases in the prompts that we put in or whatever ideas that we are trying to generate. And it's very useful for solo or team brainstorming. For example, according to OpenAI 2023, ChatGPT quickly generates like 50 marketing slogans. If you just ask ChatGPT, please generate me 100 quotes for MBA students. In split seconds, ChatGPT is able to do that for you, unlike if humans were to sit down and bring out maybe slogans or quotes. It would take some time, they may come up with something great, but it's just definitely going to take some time. IBM uses Watson AI for supply chain innovation, right? And this is really great. This is really cool. We can just imagine how business has, skyrocketed because of all these amazing potentials that have been in place because of artificial intelligence. So it increases idea volume and accelerates decision cycles. Now managers are able to make faster decisions, better decisions, smarter decisions because of all this AI that we have in place. And of course, it impacts on business agility, which is something that's very important to consider. Boosted business agility and responsiveness, according to IBM 2023. Generative AI funding soared in 2023. So when I was going through this article from the CB Insights 2024, I was like, wow. I mean, just look at the trend here. This is amazing. This is amazing. Equity investment hit 21.8 billion. Look at that. And total deals reached 426. That's record high. So it reflects booming interest and growth in AI startups, which is really, really cool. I'm just so in love with what artificial intelligence is doing. And with guidance from Human Insights, there is no telling of how better things can get. So we see that memory assistance involves tools and methods, okay, which helps individuals and teams. These tools and methods are very important. It will help to store, retrieve, manage information efficiently and effectively too. And that's what businesses are looking for, because when you set up a business, you want to deliver and deliver in time because there are competitors out there. So just trying to get the right tools and methods that will help your individual workers or your teams to be able to be very productive, to store, retrieve, and manage information in order to deliver effectively and efficiently is key. So let's look at some challenges in memory assistance. First of all, we'll talk about overload of information. Yes, especially when we don't prompt accurately to be able to guide this artificial intelligence, Gen AI, what exactly we are looking for, in how many words, is it in bullet format, If you don't guide it properly in the prompts, it will give you a whole lot of information that you may end up not even needing. So information overload challenges memory. And the more overload that you have, it will also impact on how it will be able to memorize some of the things that you input or some of the output that you get from it. Forgetting critical data is common. Sometimes you'll be working with, for example, ChatGPT, and then you have guided it in your prompts and it has given you a couple of outputs. Say you come back to pick off where it left, you will see that sometimes you even miss some very important details. That's why it's not just about going to this artificial intelligence to do the work for you, but you must understand what exactly you're doing so that it can be able to give you the output that you need. And if it hasn't given you the proper output, or if it has left some important details behind, you are able to go back and address it with the prompts so that you can be able to get exactly what you are looking for. And then not just overload of information, but forgetting critical data. So when we add up these two very massive challenges, we see that it can easily lead to inefficient knowledge sharing. And this will be really bad as a business if we are not able to give accurate and proper information to the stakeholders. And then let's look at how Gen AI supports memory assistance. Okay, so it automates note taking and summarization, which is really, really cool. The first time I came across these features, I was like, wow, this is time saving, retrieving relevant information on demand. How cool is that? Something that people would have spent hours and hours trying to figure out. Gen AI is able to help you achieve it in few seconds. For example, Microsoft Copilot, right? It helps to summarize and create action items. So just imagine having your meeting and you have these cool features that are able to just help you to summarize, to take notes. This is really amazing. Then you are able to concentrate on the things that really matter. Now, um, another real world example for AI, knowledge management would be Google's use of AI to summarize internal research documents. And of course, this will improve employee productivity because if these features already are available to summarize, to take notes, it would just help employees to concentrate better on key points, on interacting with their stakeholders better. So according to Google AI 2022, Google's use of AI to summarize internal research documents has been something that has really helped employees to be productive. And of course, some of the benefits are that it will reduce search time, improve knowledge sharing, and just support remote work of their employees, which I think is really great. So, what's the science behind Gen AI for brainstorming and a memory? We see that it uses large language models, which are trained on massive data sets. That's why we are able to get outputs in just a very timely manner, something that has really saved a lot in business or other industries. And then pattern recognition, very important. It helps generate contextually relevant ideas. And of course, the reinforcement of learning, which helps to improve responses over time, because the more you guide the prompts, the more AI is able to deliver more accurate results. Now, let's look at the ethics in the whole thing, because some of the risks will be AI bias. If there are bias in the prompts, there'll be bias in the outputs, over reliance. People will tend to rely more on AI than to actually think critically. Imagine students who just rely on AI. They would end up graduating without even understanding exactly what they are supposed to do in the job market. Misinformation, all this hallucination from AI, right? That's why there is a need for human oversight and critical thinking. We must still put in the work to be able to guide AI in the output, to be able to guide AI, to put a human touch, to put something that is relatable, to put something that makes sense in human perspective. And of course, data privacy concerns in memory assistance tools. Are people safe? In promptings, people would just put in a lot of details. And I ask myself, are all of these details really necessary for AI to know about them? So we see privacy concerns, we see the need for human oversight, we see that there are a lot of risks still with all the bias and over reliance and misinformation that come with using AI. How do we integrate Gen AI effectively? How do we integrate Gen AI effectively? So we have to use clear, specific prompts. Clarity is very important. Giving roles to AI in order to deliver the most effective and efficient outputs, telling AI you are a creative marketing expert, do this. Now it is giving you a result that is assuming the context of a marketing expert, unlike maybe a medical expert. So combining AI output with human creativity is still key. Humans are still required to be on top of their game. And of course, continuous feedback in order to refine the outputs, in order to get the smartest and fastest and best ideas possible out of Gen AI. I have some questions in mind as we go through this particular presentation. How can Gen AI enhance creativity without leading to idea homogenization? How can humans make sure that these ideas are even accurate? What risk arise from overdependence on AI memory and knowledge management? Because if we are not careful, we'll be in that space where we just rely on AI to give us every single output. Yes, some people even get so smart in learning how to prompt properly, but not even understanding the nitty-gritties of what exactly they are getting out of the artificial intelligence. So these are just things to ponder about. AI tools are becoming more intuitive using multiple input types like text, voice, and images. And this is really cool, of course. This is really great to know that we can be able to have the possibilities of pasting text or voice notes or just images and get the AI interpret them for us and do that really fast. I think it's going to boost the business industry and every other industry out there. Also, we see integration with augmented reality for immersive brainstorming. That's another trend. According to OpenAI 2023, that's another trend. Personalized AI assistance adapt to individual workflows. That's another trend. So getting AI personalized, having those immersive brainstorming capabilities, and just becoming more intuitive and multimodal. Those are trends that we see happening around us, and it gets better. So, what are some key takeaways? Gen AI transforms brainstorming by increasing data, ideas, right? Idea variety and speed, the kind of speed that we humans still struggle to deliver. Okay, so another thing is AI-driven memory tools reduce cognitive load and boost our productivity. Human judgment will be crucial, of course, to verify and use AI insights effectively because sometimes AI will hallucinate, giving false information and really sticking to them, making you feel like it's true, but it's not true. So, a brainstorming capability, boosting productivity, and human insights are still very much needed. These are some of the references that guided this presentation, and hopefully, it was really something exciting to learn more about. Thank you so much for your attention, and see you next time.